For the past several years, Charles County government has produced a series each December called The Gift of Information, providing our listeners and viewers with a deeper look into a relevant topic that impacts our community. This December, we are sharing The Gift of Information, Environmental Care and Climate Resiliency, a 3-episode series that I, Doria Fleischer, your Community Engagement Coordinator, am honored to be hosting. Building a resilient community is a high priority for Charles County government, and we want our residents to have as much information as possible so that we can all work together to prepare for, respond to, and recover from current and future climate issues. We hope you'll accept this gift of information about environmental care and climate resiliency from Charles County government and pass it along to your loved ones and neighbors. Hi, Charles County. Thanks for joining us for another episode in our Gift of Information series this December 2024. Today we are talking with Meg Romero, our wonderful recycling and litter control superintendent, and the focus on the episode is going to be on being resilient and using the reduce, reuse, and recycling theme and mantra through the holiday season, right, Meg?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Hi, Doria.
Hi, Meg. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And Meg, I'm so impressed. I didn't even really have to beg you to do this. You're one of our best employees in terms of when we say we've got to get education out there, you're always willing to jump in. So thank you.
That's a big part of my job, is to help educate the county on what we do and what we offer, and I'm happy to be here.
That's why you're the super duper superintendent. We love it.
That's right.
So you gave us a little bit of a lead in already, but tell us about what your job is in the county. What department do you work for? What do you do? And how does the work you do tie into this theme of resiliency?
So I work for the Department of Public Works, specifically the Environmental Resources Division. And I help oversee our recycling programs throughout the county, as well as our litter control program. And part of the Environmental Resources Division is the landfill. So one of our goals is to have the landfill last as long as possible. And to do that, we need to reduce the waste that we produce. So this topic in this division really fits right into the resiliency theme.
Awesome. Thank you. And I was talking with you earlier that I've known you now for, I think, about 3.5 years. You're one of the first staff that I got to work with when I got here.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time, a long history. And it took me even a little while to really understand that so much of your job, you know, when I met you, you talked with me so much about the importance of keeping the landfill going and keeping it safe, and the difference between a healthy landfill versus just a place where people put trash. And I think it took me a long time to realize that while that's a huge component of your job, so much of your job is also avoiding the landfill, right?
Yeah.
What can we keep out of it? So I'm thrilled you can be here today to talk to us about that. I want to focus on 3 kind of main things today. Wrapping paper and gifts, greeting cards, and the amount of food that goes into our holidays often, that like food waste and prepping food and preparing for food. Are you up for those 3 topics?
I think I can handle it.
All right, awesome. So talk to me, please, when I say we want our county to be prepared for reduce, reuse, recycle around the idea of wrapping gifts and presents.
Sure. There's a lot you can do differently with when
Yeah.
you're wrapping your gifts or getting your presents ready for your friends and family. One of the things that I like to do, and one that I suggest often, is to use a reusable bag. A lot of us use reusable bags when we go into the grocery store or go anywhere shopping. So if you give your gift in that reusable bag, it's something that continues throughout the year.
And it's part of the gift.
It's part of the gift.
Excellent.
Exactly.
Okay. Go ahead, please.
I was just going to say, the other thing is to get creative with types of wrapping paper that you use, whether it's the funny papers or even an old paper grocery bag, and then you can decorate it however you'd like, or even an old map.
I hadn't thought of that one, Meg.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. I like it.
Yeah, so just get creative on how you wrap it. Even sometimes what I've done a few times and have received gifts that are wrapped in a blanket or something else that extends the gift.
And gets used. And the nice thing about if we're wrapping in that paper, like you said, reusing that paper bag, finding that older map, that can then get recycled, right? You're
Yes.
using something that's already had a job once, and then that can go into the recycle bin?
Yes, absolutely. If it's a paper, it definitely can go into the recycling bin. If you can't reuse it again to wrap something else, yes, put it into the recycling cart for it to be recycled. You have to be careful, though, if your wrapping paper that you're using is a little shiny or has some foil or some glitter in it. Unfortunately, that's not accepted in our program.
Beautiful. And that kind of leads into my next question of talk to me about greeting cards, because that's going to be the same. Like, we all end up with these beautiful cards that we receive, whether it's the like photos of our friends and family that they send out, or literally the like, this is the card I hand you with your gift inside.
Right.
How do I know what to do with the envelope, with the card? How do I know what's recyclable, what's not?
It's a similar answer. If it has a lot of foil or a lot of glitter, it's unfortunately not accepted in the program. But if it's just a regular paper card, you can recycle it. Or if you want, you can even cut, if it's a beautiful card and you want to use it again, you can kind of cut it and then create your own message on the inside and reuse it.
I like that. I save them sometimes as like hanging up for art, you know, the really beautiful ones.
Great, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So we've talked about what to do when you're giving the gift. What about, Meg, the gifts that, so I'm going to try to be very delicate about this in case any of my friends and family are listening. So sometimes you may receive a gift that is not exactly what you want or need, and it might not be returnable. But also sometimes you receive such a wonderful gift, but it's something you might already have, and the older version of what you have needs a new home. What do I do with either the new gifts that I don't know what to do with, or the older gifts that I'm ready to move on?
So I don't think there's anything wrong with regifting. I'll put it out there.
Okay. She said it, not me.
Sorry, friends and family. But no, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If it's something that you can't use or something that is not fitting into your home or whatnot, and you know somebody that could enjoy it and that would get a lot of use out of it,
Pass it on.
Pass it on. Another option where if you're replacing something, you get a new crock pot, but that old crock pot's still good, you can always donate it. Even with the gifts that you receive and you don't want to re-gift it, but you can always donate it somewhere for someone to purchase somewhere else and use it.
My older crock pot is somebody else's brand new, can't wait to use it crock pot, yeah?
Exactly.
And you have this really new cool program and initiative. Yeah, tell us about how you're figuring out ways that we can all connect better with ways to find new homes.
So we have a reuse directory. When we have an old site and we're updating it.
Okay.
And it's going to make it a lot easier for residents to connect with organizations and businesses that accept certain items for donation. So it's our reuse directory. They can find it on our website, and they can search for places that would accept that old crock pot, or segueing into another topic, if there's any non-perishable food items that they had for their parties or gatherings that they're not going to use, they can find a location that will accept their non-perishable items.
And Meg, you're giving my holiday and winter season heart such like a warm and fuzzy feel, because when I think about kind of the cycle of what you just talked about, there's so many good things that are being touched on. We're keeping things out of the landfill. We are not embarrassing our friends and family by saying, I don't want this, right? And also there's somebody who needs it potentially more than we do that also benefits an organization. So I'm assuming some of the organizations that are on your reuse directory, they're nonprofits, that this is now helping them build a profit, right?
And they're local nonprofits.
That's amazing. So this really is...
It's staying home.
It's staying home. This is great. And I hope that these are all things that our listeners and viewers can pick up on and use during the holiday season, but also the reuse directory is year round, right? This is not just for the holidays, but always.
After your spring cleaning, you've got some things you're done with and you want to move on from, check out the reuse directory.
Awesome. Okay. Meg, I want to talk about food waste, because that's something that is always hard for me to think about, the amount of food that gets given or thrown away after a big holiday or family gathering. What do you want our listeners and viewers to know about that?
Well, I think the first thing that residents need to understand is their head count.
Do the shopping list according to that. Yeah. So
exactly.
Yeah. So don't be a Doria who likes to have so much extra food. So tone down on that. Okay. I got it. I feel like that one was a really pointed comment, Meg. I heard you.
It wasn't. That will help with the amount of food that they have left over at the end. And if there is leftover after the party, send your guests home with reusable containers filled with leftovers.
Okay. Another good gift too. Yeah.
Exactly.
Excellent. Okay. And those reusable containers, how do I know if I can recycle them? I mean, obviously like reuse them as many times as you can. What do I look for in those reusable containers? Because I think sometimes those takeaway containers can be really confusing to people. Yeah.
Most of the takeaway containers we do accept at the curb.
Okay.
The only kinds that we definitely do not are the styrofoam.
Okay.
But
and so we really want to avoid
clamshells and all that. We accept those.
Okay. And clamshells are those plastic ones that kind of look
like
together. Yep. I love it. Styrofoam we want to avoid always, correct? Like, so if we're buying those leftover, because sometimes I go and stock up on the containers so that I can send
Yeah.
stuff home. So as long as they're not styrofoam, it's a good choice.
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay. I learned a really interesting term from your division this summer called wish cycling.
Okay.
And sometimes I might wish cycle some of my food, baking, and cooking items.
Okay.
I'm trying to be a lot better about it.
Okay.
But talk to us about what wish cycling is and what I shouldn't be doing, please, when it comes to the aluminum pans and stuff like that.
So wish cycling is kind of exactly what it sounds like. You put it into the cart and you're just, I hope they're going to recycle it. I think they're going to recycle it. I'm not sure, so I'm just going to put it in here. It's pretty clear on the lid of the cart what we do accept and what we do not accept. If that's confusing, you can always go to our website and search our Waste Wizard and find out what you could do with it. Around the holidays, items that people might end up using more often would be maybe, like you said, a foil pan. Foil is accepted in our program as long as it's clean.
Okay.
So if you use a large foil pan to make a lasagna in and there's a lot of leftover cheese and sauce and goopy stuff inside, then unfortunately that's not going to be accepted. But if it's a fairly clean, we will take it. It's that extra food waste that's attached to the foil, which is contaminate everything in the bin.
So clean can get recycled, but if it's got product still on it.
Yep.
Okay. And composting. Tell us a little bit about composting options for people if they want to do it at home, including you sometimes have some really good workshops going on, yeah?
do.
Okay. Tell us about that.
So if they do compost at home, if they have leftovers at the end of their party, any of the vegetables and things like that can go into their composting pile. If they'd like a little bit more
You got it.
If they would like a little bit more information about composting, we have some information on our website. They could check it out. And then we do also have composting workshops, usually about 2 or 3 times a year.
Excellent. So we need to start preparing early. So by the time the holidays come around, we've got a good compost going at home. Excellent. We've talked about what you can recycle, what we can't. We've talked about how you can actually avoid recycling in the first place by just buying less or finding other homes. It's a lot of information. What's the one thing that you hope people remember this holiday season when it comes to environmental care and resiliency? If there was something you could just kind of embed in the head of every Charles County resident, what would you want people to know?
I think I would like them to just take the time to sit and plan. And I think that will go a long way in reducing the amount of waste that they produce and end up recycling what they can, and then helping the county and the landfill all in the long run.
You know, that's such an interesting point, Meg, because I think we have so many people that are really good, like after the party or after the event, looking and being like,
Shoulda,
okay,
coulda,
what should I?
woulda.
Yeah, but I hear you loud and clear saying, you know, before it sounds like, you know, plan knowing how many people are coming, plan knowing how you're going to wrap that gift and make the bag part of the gift itself, plan knowing do the containers that you have to go home, is it something that you're going to be able to reuse or recycle?
Exactly.
It does kind of take that intention beforehand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Hey, I thought of one more thing. Can
Yeah,
I say it?
please. I would love to hear one more thing.
It kind of goes to the wish cycling as
Yeah.
well as reducing the waste. A lot of times when people have their parties, they'll have a lot of disposable dinnerware,
Yes.
like whether it's a plate or the plastic forks, utensils, and things like that. Those are not recyclable.
Gotcha.
So they cannot go into the recycling cart. So if you are using them, they're going to end up into the trash,
Okay.
which is a lot of waste. So maybe use some stuff that you could wash instead, and that would be really helpful.
No, that makes great sense. And I get laughed at in my family, Meg. So we do have a collection of plastic forks that go through my dishwasher. I don't know if that's a normal thing for people to do, but it's what we do in our family. But we also, a couple of years ago, ended up with, from the thrift store, I think I have something like 40 forks that stay when we have company, and they were not expensive at all. And those are just kind of my like company forks. And when we're done with them, they go back into
We have the same thing.
The Romero and the Fleischer family clearly are thinking alike.
Plates too.
It's a pleasure to join with you in environmental care and resiliency. Meg, thank you so much. Anything else you want to share? And if people want to know more, I know we'll put all your different sites in the show notes. I also am a fan of using the app so much during the holidays because I can put everything in the wizard.
Super
so
easy.
I'll make sure we put that in as well because that
Great.
would be wouldn't that be an easy gift too if people could just say like, what I'm giving you this season is the app.
Oh, yeah.
Click on this QR code, put
There
it on
you
your
go.
phone. All of our families could have it.
Gift that keeps on giving.
The gift that keeps on giving. I love it. Meg Romero, our recycling and litter control superintendent. It is a mouthful, isn't it?
It is. It's a
Thank
little
you
long.
so much for being here today. And I hope you and your family have a wonderful winter season.
Thanks, Doria. You too.
Thanks so much for tuning in, Charles County. We hope that this episode gave you more great ideas on how you can be a big part of keeping Charles County a resilient and environmentally healthy community. Take care, stay safe, and stay engaged.
Thanks for listening. If you like this podcast and want to hear more, search Charles County Government on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. And be sure to like and subscribe. We're also available on YouTube. Search Charles County Commissioners. And stay connected for all county news, information, and programs by visiting www.charlescountymd.gov/stay connected.